Hi, Internet viewers. Frank Rauscher again. We're marching on. We should have all of the wings done as far as the primaries, tertiaries, and the secondaries. And we're now going to march on to the tail, and I'm going to show you how to do the rump. So we'll be moving down onto that and try to finish that up, and then we'll eventually get to the head, which is the primary one. Usually I do that first, but in this case I'm just trying to get the body or the wings structure set up and everything else, and then we'll hit the head. I would like to mention that if anybody has any interest in getting into this, I do have kits available, and I also have catalogs that list all the different kits I carry, and they come with feed, eyes, pattern, and a blank, and that's for most of the birds I do, and some of the animals too, depending on which one I'm doing at the time. And I have videos out on several of the ones I've done already that you can follow along and work with the pattern and the blank, and hopefully that'll get you there. And if you ever have any problems, I'm always asking you to contact me through the comments section of the video, or you can contact me by email. And if you get my catalog, you can get my phone number and give me a call, and I'll gladly try to help you out where I can. So I just want to follow up on that. And if anybody really likes the videos, and I would ask you to subscribe to my channel. And if you know of anybody else that may be interested in this, I would ask you also if you would please pass the word on about my channel, so I could get the channel to grow more than what it is, which is it's a slow process, but it's I'm trying to inform everybody on how to on creating power carving. So I appreciate anybody to pass the words on, and we are going to proceed on into the tail of the sandpiper. And I hope you enjoy and follow what I'm doing. So, see you in a minute. Slight arc in here, and if I can get a pencil here and just show you on the ends here, this sort of rolls this way and that way, slightly. It's not a lot. So I'm going to come in. I happen to have like a bullet shape in here, and I'm coming in here, and I'm just smoothing this out, okay, to get like a nice flat area in here, as if it rolls around that center line. So I'm going to come over here and get down under that wing feathers there and smooth this out. And I usually use like the middle of the barrel for most of it, but sometimes you need to get the point in there as well to get right up under here. And once you got that all smoothed out, and if you have a nice roll over there, I'm going to ask you to do this. We do have a bottom center line. I'm going to ask you to bring that through again and stay in the same plane as if it's cutting through, and bring it up to the top here, and then it should be right about in the middle of this tail is where the center line goes up. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do, we have on the pattern here, we have the center feather, which lays on top, and that is going to come in right about here. So I'm going to bring a feathers, at least one side of it down, and just loop right at the end here. Just pull that in, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and pull that in like so. Okay. And that is, I'm saying, about almost 1/8 of an inch out from the center. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is just fill this in. There is a series of them, but they are all real tight in here, and you can see that by the way it is on this pattern. So here's what I do. I get the next one, and I do it about a 1/16 or a little better, and then come up. And as I get up to the top here, I pull this one in. It's not going to be longer than the center one here, but it's coming right up to it. Then I'll do another one about the same spacing and then pull that one in. Then I'll do one more right up to that one, and then I'll just be able to get one more that slices back into here. So it's a real short one. It won't even come up. It'll just stop right about there. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to come up here, then peel in. Okay. Let me turn this around. It's probably easier for me to draw it this way. Then I'm going to start up here and pull this one back. Then I'll do one more. And each time you're making this shorter, and then the last one is right on edge here. Okay, so with that in, and we have a nice rolling surface in there, what I'm going to ask you to do, and what I'm going to do that you probably don't see, and I throw this into the camera range, I get my optivisor so I can see exactly what I'm burning. And sometimes I'll get something as a rest. This happens to be a cradle for my grinding machine. I just flip it over. But you can get a block of wood or something that raises it up so that you can have more of a support point when you're doing this. Now, I'm not going to burn in the center line of the quill. I'm going to come to the outside edge here, right on the pencil line, and get the first feather in and burn that in. Then I'll do the other side and turn and get it right out to the end. Now I'm going to do the next one down and then turn at the last minute. Then I'll do the next one. Turn. These are really tight compared to the ones above that we had. There's not that much space here. These tail feathers really pull in tight. Now, I'm going to do this side, and I'm burning all my pencil lines in. Okay. And they get shorter as we come down on these, and they tuck in faster. Okay, so I'm trying to give the illusion of feathers. I think all total, don't hold me to this, I think when they're spread out, I think there's like 10 of them down there if I'm not mistaken, but we're not showing all 10. So we're sort of ad-libbing as we go here and not get every one of them in there. Now, normally, like what I used up here was a safe end where we laid these down and just came through. Because these are so small, I'm going to go back. You can either use your bullet shape or diamond flame tip, and or as we've been using here to roll this surface, I'm going to use the bullet shape, okay? Any one of them will do it for you. And here's what you got to do. You got to be steady. I'm going to come in. I'm going to slope this slightly when I'm cutting this so that we keep this rolling here. They're not just flat. The flat one is on top, but everything else is coming down this way and that way. At least that's what we're trying to give you the illusion. So I'm going to come back on the burn here and undercut, not the top feathers, but the one down from it. Okay. Then I'll do the next one, as I'm trying to relieve each one like it's a shingling effect as we come down, and then the last one, and then I'll get down here. Now, I'm going to come over this way because it's easier for me to undercut. Notice I still keep an angle going down when I do this. Clean each one of them out, and I'm using the pointed bit because it allows me to get right in there, where if I tried to use a safe end, that wouldn't work. Now that I got that in there, you know what, I looked at this and I don't know how balanced I did that. This side and this side should look the same, so this should have been brought up a little bit more. I'm going to come back with the burning pin. I'm just going to try to make both sides. I'm just going to go in and pull that up a little bit more. And this just a little bit more. Okay, like that. And then all we need to do is come back and undercut that on each of those two feathers to get them to stand out a little bit more. Okay. Now, what we have is we have all this light area here away from the feathers as excess. So what we're going to do, I'm going to get a hogging bit, which, let's see, probably have a million of them, but they all hide on me when I need them. Let's see what we got here. Got one. Okay. I'm using the blue Typhoon burr because it's a finer cut, and I just like using that, so I get that in. I think this was the outer round one. I'll get that all the way in, and hopefully it doesn't vibrate as bad. Sometimes when you lean on these, they start bending. I'm going to come in and undercut all the stuff away from the feathers on the outside edge. And I'm trying to do this straight down. I'm not trying to tilt it in or anything like that. I'm trying to go in like I'm routing this right up against the burnt feathers. Doesn't look exactly right on this side. Still didn't come through, so let me extend this. And what I'm saying is this side here seems a little longer than this side, so I'm going to come in. Let me put this down here. Hope you can see all this, and I'm not at a camera view. I'm going to bring that up a little higher, and then I'm going to bring that one a little higher. And then I'm going to cut it in again. It's so small that I can make the adjustment. Oop, not with that bit, I can't. I got to switch over to the bullet shape. Or if you have a diamond flame, that will work, or a ruby flame. So I gotta get that cleaned out a little bit more. And then this one. I think we're pretty close now. Now I'll go back and get my hogging bit and get a little closer to the burn, but not enough to lose it. You need to just stop short of the burn. So I'm going to come in very gently. And I think we're there. I got most of it out. Okay. Now, here's what we have. I'm going to ask you at this time to get the ruler, and from the end of the feather in, it's 3/4 of an inch. So you want to come back from the tip of the tail back 3/4 of an inch and put a dot. Okay. And then what I want you to do is you have this center line down here. I want you, and that's on the center line, excuse me, I should have stated that first. Then I want you to arc over to where almost the feathers stop over here. As you come around like that, and then you should be doing the same thing on this side. Okay, about the same distance. So they look the same on both sides. Now, the problem is this tail is just too thick. So what I'm going to ask you to do is come down about a 1/16 and draw a line that are just below the tail feathers here, all the way through here. You got this about a 1/16, and coming around like so. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do, this is going to end up as our rump, but I need to take all this material down to that line, and it gets concave in here. Let me show you one that's done already so you can get an idea. Here's one, it's all been painted white, but here is that area right in here, and these feathers are cupped in here, they're concave. So we gotta make that happen. So what I'm going to ask you to do is we're going to use the hogging bit again, and I'm going to come down right up to the rump there. That's the rump line. Just don't want to slip, so go easy with this. Sort of jumped a little bit right there, so you got to be careful with the hogging bits. Now, what I want to do is make this a swale in here. So I'm going to ask you to come in. Don't go past the pencil line. You're dishing this out. I didn't go out of camera range. What I'm doing, I went down about, a good 1/8 of an inch. So say I'm coming up close to the pencil line. Hope you can see that. At the same time, I'm trying to get a nice dish in here. I know I'm not going to get everything back in here with this bit, but at least we could get from one side to the other. Then on this side, I'm going to aim my bit out here, but I'm going to really pay attention to this line here. I don't want to go past it. I want to keep that line. So I'm taking material down, but I'm tilting it inward. Now, I'm not going to get that pretty in there because this bit is too much of a hogging bit. And you can't get it really small. So what I'm going to do is switch it over to what I call a more controlled cut, which is a pear-shaped ruby. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come between this line, the wing, and the rump here. And I'm going to lay this bit right in there. And again, I want to keep the pencil line on both sides, the rump outline and the tail. And I'm going to swell this up right up to the pencil line, more of a controlled cut this way. Now on this side, do the same thing. Come through here. Swell that up to the pencil line. At the end that way. Now I'm going to come in and make sure that everything's going down and back. And we have a nice swell in there and still maintaining that 16th at the end. Now I'm going to just use the bit real lightly to get a nice roll. Now, let me show you what I've done. Here's the pencil line right there. There's the pencil line right on edge. I'm right on edge on everything here. Now I'm going to put the center line right back in there. Okay. And then we have, let's see, let me give you one more measurement here. And we got, let's see how far that comes back. There we go. About 5/8 back. Okay. From here to here, we had 3/4. I'm going to ask you to measure back 5/8 and put a dot. Okay. And we're going to draw a perpendicular line which crosses the center line here. Now, this is like a staging for the rump in here. This will come around and down. And what I'm going to ask you to do is also put a pencil line down here so we know where the bottom of this is too. This should be coming back to this point back here. Now, I'm going to come in. I'm also going to measure up another, let's see how far, not that far. Think about another 3/4 of an inch from that dot to here. So from here to here is another 3/4. So we'll draw a line up to there. Now what I'm going to do, this is like a tiering of the rump. This rump will come around, and we're going to undercut all of this back here to get this stage down. We also will come up, and then by the time we get to here, where this X is right here, we'll transition it off. We do have a little bit of a hollow in there to start anyway, but it's going to stop right there. So we'll do this all with the pear now, okay? So here we go. I'm going to send this right up against the X, go lightly in the beginning, but now we got to go deeper. And I'd say we're going down, maybe a good 16th, maybe a little beyond 16th as far as drop right in there. And then I'll do it on this side. And I'm trying to maintain at least the pencil line curvature up into here. Okay. Now, let me put in the center line again so you can see it. Here's those secondary rump that comes around. And what I'm going to do, the first thing is to slope the bottom of this, that's why I just put a pencil line here. Just lost my leg, there we go. And I'm going to slope it from here down to here. So you can do it with a pear, or you can do it with a Haagen Dazs. So I want to maintain that bottom line so you can see where we're going. But I'm sloping everything from this line down to that line. So I'm dipping this down to that line, from this line to that line. Do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to go back in here with the pencil again because you may get lost a little bit. But I need a slope. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here's my secondary rump here. It comes around. There's my center line coming down. Here's the primary rump. I need to slope from this line down to that line. And you want to look like it's coming out from that line and sloping straight down. But you're also keeping it rounded, as if it's rolling. I'm going to do that on this side. On the top here. Now, if I'm losing some of the depth, I'll come back in and undercut right around those two arcs I did. And then blend that down again. Okay, I'm going to give you a little profile here. You can see I'm down here, and then it slopes down to here. Hope you can see that, how well that's shown. But I'm going to throw the pencil lines back in there again, and here. And everything should be sloping from here down to here, from here down to there. Now I got these edges on top here. I got to soften them out. So each side of the secondary rump has to be rolled around. So I get the pear and I roll that around. Okay. So I soften that just like I did up here. And then, yeah, I want to come all the way up here. I don't want to see any edges here. You're sort of doming this area and this area, and you're rolling this around here like this. Now, get this nice and smooth in here. Coming up. It's nice and smooth in here. Okay. Now, I'll put the center line back in again so you can follow it. Okay. Now, on the bottom, see on the top feather is the longest one. On the bottom, it's the shortest one. You can see here. This is shorter, and the top feather on the underneath side here is the longest. So we start out by coming out with a feather following this line of action. We come out and we turn right about here. Okay, and these aren't big neither. These are small. Because none of these feathers don't have the room to make them big anyway. So we got that in on both sides. You want to make them the same size. You're coming around here. Now, the next one comes off of here. Let's see if I got that. That would be like this one. He comes in about here. And I draw him right in there like that. And then I do the same thing over on this side. Come up. Try to keep them even across. That comes around. Then I'll try to get one more in. That comes up a little higher. And then one more. And these are tight now. These are pretty tight. Then we get one more in here. And one more right in here. Okay. So, now I'm going to bring in a cradle so I can steady myself. I'm going to burn these in. So I'm going to come in here, lay that down, come around. That's one. Then I'm going to come in, follow the burn line, and the other one. Come around. Do the next one. Then one more. Okay, then I'm going to do the other side. Notice I only go part way. I don't try to do the whole feather swing coming around. They're so tight that to try to do it in one full swing is not going to happen. There. And I'll do the next one. there. Then the third one's almost coming right down the center, or I should say the fourth one. That turns right here. Okay, so we got them all burned in. Now, I'm going to go back to the bullet again on the idea that it's a pointy feather, either a flame tip ruby or a diamond, any one of them. I'm going to come in and undercut, starting with the one in the back here. I'm going to get the tip come around on this feather. I'm just trying to raise them just a little bit. Gotta take your time. Each one. Now, let me show you something else too. This last feather, the end feather here, has to be dished. And you do have some thickness between the top and the bottom here. Remember, we left like a 16th in here. This still has an edge right here. I don't know if you can see it well or not. I'm going to come in with my bit right in the middle and sort of hollow it very lightly, because you don't want to take too much material out. At the same time, you're thinning this wall down to less than a 16th now. And you're making it concave just for that last feather. And I'm just cleaning out the rest here to make these a little sharper. Okay, so in essence, this one here is dipped right in the center. Now we're going to go to this side and undercut these. So here we go. I'm going to come in here, run my point right down around the burn. Then I do the next one. Take your time on this because these are really tight. And the next one. And the last one. Now, we have to hollow this one out. So lay your bit so you can just make it concave just for that bit. If you go past it, come around here and undercut that again. And this one here. So it stands out again. I'll just refine these until I get it. Now, if I have too much of a thickness here, I'm going to thin this out on this edge here, right off of this edge right there. Get that thinner, okay? Now, from the top here, I'm just going to come back and clean these up. Let me just come in here. And I'm just dressing these out so that I'm getting these just the way they should be. So I reduce the edges on this side and that side on this last feather here that's hollowed. And try not to make it so thick, okay? So if need be, you can come up from the top and take them down a little bit on both sides till you get the 16th down to half of that. Okay. Now, we have the secondary rump rolled over. We have the first rump rolled over and the secondary slides down to the first. We have these all stepping down to the center here, so it's sort of concave the way we started anyway. The outside ones on either side are concave. You want to make sure that when we made them concave that you blended any of maybe the edges that may have remained in there, so that when we go to burn, we have a nice smooth surface and we don't have edges. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do, I think what I'm going to do is probably hold off on the burning of this, and we'll do that on the next stage, and we'll clean a little bit more up on the tail. But for now, if you can accomplish that, I think that's good. You got a nice shape, which is this here you're trying to make up, okay? And it does get thin in here. So this is the big guy right here in the center, and then they sort of swing down and get smaller. Remember, this outside ones are the shorter guys, and if you need to go back in to sharpen those edges too, to define them, you can do that. So if you can accomplish this much on this video, that'd be great. Then I'll show you how to detail that, and then we'll finalize the wing coming up here. So I'll show you how to do that as well, okay? So I hope you got something out of this. If you did, I'd ask you to give me a thumbs up. And if you could subscribe to my channel, that would greatly help me. And if anybody's looking for a catalog or kits or anything for any of the projects I've done, you can get my catalog through my email. Just send me a request for it on my email, and that's Rauscher, R-A-U-S-C-H-E-R, Frank, F-R-A-N-K, 7@gmail.com. So hope to see you on the next video. I hope you got something out of this one. And any questions, fire away. I'm available to give you as much information as I can. Thanks again. See you in the next video.